Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. Hope you're having a great week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, and this week we are talking to a young girl called Sophie Keech. Now, Sophie was brought to my attention by a good friend of mine called Dan Frost and that Aussie guy on Instagram. And Sophie has been influenced by her granddad when she was younger. She's now playing on the Ladies European Tour, as well as sometimes on the LET Access. And we just talk about her rise to the top, where she is today, how she got there, and how she managed to win 4 national titles as an amateur golfer. So I hope you guys enjoy the conversation, and please welcome Sophie Keech. So, hey Sophie, and welcome to the One Pod Life podcast. How you getting on?
Hi. Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad. Like you said, it's your first ever podcast, so I'll try and be nice with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Sophie, can you just give a quick intro into yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Sophie Keech. I'm 24 years old. I've been playing golf since I was about 9 years. Yeah, 9 years old. I live in Devon, but I have been playing my golf mainly for like Dorset. I've always played Dorset golf courses and for the Dorset County. And I'm a professional now on the Ladies European Tour.
Fantastic, good stuff. So, you're actually on the Ladies European Tour now. Also, last time I checked, it was all telling me about the LET Access Tour, but that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So did you qualify for that this year?
So it would have been January 2020. I went to Q School. And I earned my card. It's like called Category 9B, so I can get a few starts onto the Ladies European Tour.
Well done. Was that the La Manga European Tour pre-qualifier?
Yeah, that was it. The one in La Manga.
Because that was over 4 rounds, right?
Well, yeah, because I had a pre-qualifier, so I was out in La Manga for about 5 weeks probably.
Oh, wow.
So I had a pre-qualifier, which was 4 rounds. And then I literally had like one rest day and then another couple of practice rounds. And then I had another 4 rounds of golf and then a cut and then another round of golf. So,
so 9 in total.
It was a lot of golf, yeah.
Wow. No, fantastic. So when you got to the actual final qualifier, was there any big names for sort of give you a bit of starstruck, or would you just head down and see what you can do?
Yeah, pretty much head down, see what you can do. That was the main sort of part of the game, really.
Yep.
But I think, Amy Bolden ended up winning final qualifier, but I was quite surprised to see her there because I thought she would have already been, comfortable on the Ladies European Tour, having a category and everything.
Yep.
So I was quite surprised to see her name there, but yeah.
No, good stuff. All right, well, let's just circle back to, like you said, you started playing golf when you were 9. How did that come about? Was it yourself picking up the golf club, or was you influenced by another family member? Yeah,
well, I was always quite a sporty person. So at school, I used to play like netball, hockey, tennis. I used to do loads of sports. And then my granddad actually was the club captain at Lyme Regis Golf Club.
Okay.
And he sort of just introduced it to me and I pretty much took off straight away with it. I really enjoyed golf, and at the time I think I was sort of torn between golf and tennis.
Right.
I just sort of took to golf, went up, I think it was every Saturday morning, went to the range, and then probably when I was about 9 years old, played like a few holes on the golf course, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I've just been playing ever since, really.
So what was the main reason you chose golf over tennis? What was the reasoning?
I don't know. I think, I got to county level at both. And then my parents sort of said to me, obviously a lot of travelling, a lot of commitment now. So, do you want to carry on with sport? If you do, you sort of need to pick one. Okay. And I felt with myself, I much prefer golf. I really enjoyed it. Plus, I'm a bit lazy. And at tennis, I never used to run for the balls. So,
right, okay.
I was a bit right, well, you don't have to run in golf, do you? So.
Not really.
So, but no, I enjoy golf a lot more. I think it's a bit more of a challenge, and
well, I think that's what most people say. Anyone who ever plays golf, it's just the challenge of it. There's always a challenge every time you play. Every shot you've got, it's just a challenge keeps on coming, which exactly. Which also brings us back. So
Yeah,
Good.
definitely. Even after like a good game, like you just want to go out and do better.
Yep.
But then even after you have a bad game, you're like, oh my God, like you know you've done so bad that you can do so much better. Like everything always just gets you back to like the drawing board, practicing. It's like it's so addictive, really, isn't it?
100%. Okay. So your granddad got you into golf. Would you say he's probably like the biggest influence to do that, or have you been influenced by other means as well?
Yeah, so like to start with, it would have been sort of my granddad, and then when I was younger, we used to watch like Tiger Woods, you know, at the Masters on the TV and tournaments, and I thought he was just like really cool, and yeah, he was quite a big influence of mine.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, so I played golf for Dorset.
Okay.
And I always followed like Hayley Davis and Georgia Hall.
Yep.
We used to obviously play a lot together, etc. And then Hayley went on and won a few national events, like in the amateur days. And then that always gave me something to look up to. And then Georgia did as well. And then obviously with her like now going on winning the Open, she won a couple of weeks ago on the LPGA.
She did, yep.
You know, she's just been sort of like a huge inspiration to me, to be fair.
That's good. No, it's always good to have little role models to people to look up to. And
and it's quite
no
nice
one better than Georgia Hall.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite nice because I sort of know them personally.
Oh,
and it's just
great.
Yeah, like I was always, well, I travel with Hayley sometimes, and Georgia, like when we did the Justin Rose series, like I sort of had a nice catch up with her because I hadn't seen her for about like 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
We used to be really, really good friends. We used to be members at Parkstone Golf Club, and we used to play together there as well. So I've sort of known her from like back in the day as such. So it's really nice to have someone that I knew like look up to now.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I think you've had a pretty good amateur career from what I read earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong. But I did read that you actually won 4 national titles. You won the English girls, the English women's, and you won 2 English school titles. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, what was that experience like, winning all 4 of those at an amateur level?
It was crazy. I think also like I think 2 of them come in the same year, like a couple months apart as well. Okay. So I mean, my amateur days they were amazing. Like something I'll never forget. You know, just great memories.
Yep.
And it's so nice, like going back to like the courses to play. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoy playing for England, and you've got a lot of opportunities, experiences, but it's nice just to have those sort of wins under your belt, really.
No, definitely gives you the sort of belief that you can actually do it when you're moving forward, and if you turn pro, you could actually win some tournaments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, if you had to pick one of the 4, what was your most memorable one?
Oh, probably the one I won in 2013 at Oak Manor.
Yep.
I won. That was the English girls. It was under 18s. Okay. So that was the one. So Hayley won it a few years before me, and I always wanted to win it after her. But also it was special because Oak Manor's not too far from where I live. It's about probably just under an hour. It's in Taunton.
Oh, right, okay.
And yeah, it was just really nice to sort of play somewhere quite local, because where I live, it's always like a mission to get to everywhere, because most tournaments are up in London or up north. There's like never anything where I am, so it was quite nice to have something local. And at the time, I think like my mum was there, like walking around. My coach was Karen Nichols. She was able to come and watch as well, and I had a few people that were able to come and see. So it was really, really nice, and like it just felt really good, like being at home. And that was probably my favourite one to win, because just the memories.
So he's quite comfortable having people around you for that support as well, like you wouldn't normally get at other tournaments. So made you feel at ease, probably.
Yeah, it was really, really nice just to have people there. And yeah, like I say, it probably did just make me feel a bit more at ease as well. But I'd never played the course before as well, because considering it was like, it was only like an hour from where I live, I've never actually played it before.
Okay.
So that was quite strange. But I've been back there quite a few times now, to be fair. And it was, it's so nice to go back, and you just have a bit of a buzz, don't you, as well, when you have like good memory somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even at my level, going back to a golf club or a course where you've actually scored quite well, you think, oh yeah, I could do this again. And you do feel quite at ease there. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you had a great amateur career, like I said, winning those 4 national titles. At what age did you turn pro? What handicap, and why did you decide to turn pro then?
Okay, so I turned pro in 2015. So that was 5 years ago. So I would have been 19. I played off +3.
Okay.
And I decided to turn pro because we all sort of had my team had a little chat about it, because I've always wanted to be a professional golfer. I've always wanted to tour play golf, and in myself I felt like I've achieved pretty much everything I could when I was amateur.
Yep.
So when me and my team had a chat, it was always, win an English girls title, win an English women's title. And then someone said to me, well, when you become number one, then, what else do you need to achieve?
Yeah.
So I think at that time I won the English girls. And then I believe one year I was literally first on the order of merit.
Okay. And
I think Bronte Law picked me at the last event or something, so I came second on the order of merit.
Yep.
And then I just felt, I'm pretty ready to turn pro. I've really achieved everything I've wanted to. And then I think to top that summer off, that's when I went and won the English Women's.
Right. Okay.
And then afterwards, I literally had a phone call, and it was my mum, my coach, and everyone were well, you've now won an English women's title. Mm-hmm. You've won your English girls. Do you want to turn pro? And it was to me, that wasn't even a question. I was no. Didn't even need to think about anything.
Yeah. You tick the 2 boxes, right? Let's move on. Let's go become a pro.
Yeah, exactly. So I was literally ready. Didn't even need to think about it really. Because when you're amateur, you do a lot of travel. I travelled around the world already.
Yep.
So I experienced that sort of style things. But I was just that's what I wanted to do. That's that's where I'm going.
So you were really set up to turn pro, and like you said, you travelled around the world. You had that experience of big tournaments and sort of 4-round tournaments as well. So why not? If you like you said, you won English girls, you won English women's. Yeah. I think you're pretty ready to move on and see what you can do on the European tour. So
exactly.
Good decision.
Yeah, no, that was the aim.
No, great. Okay, well, one of the topics I want to talk to you about as well is obviously women's golf is getting bigger. You can't hide from that, and I think it's great that it's getting bigger as well. You've got all people out there now, especially on Instagram, women pushing the game. And I just want to get your sort of insight really into what has it been like when you've been trying to move through the rankings, and how would you actually, like you say, you played for England and you did your amateur career, but how did you actually move up the ranks to become a European tour player?
So I mean, basically, well, to begin with, when I started, when I was at Lyme Regis, when I was about 8, 9, 10 years old, there wasn't really. I was pretty much, there's me and another girl, I think, but she didn't really play much golf. I was the only girl junior. Right. So most of when I was starting, I always used to go out with the boys and play golf. But then obviously when I got to sort of county level, you did start to recognise there's obviously other women golfers out there you can play with, which is really good because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be competing against men as such. I'm going to be competing against women. So that was really good to sort of experience. And then obviously England golf again, you just get a bigger scale of everything. And that really did, to be fair, England golf and the tournaments, they really set me up well to where I am now, because that is sort of national level, and we did go and play against different Europeans as well. You've got the European individuals, you've got the European match play, so you've got the different events that you can play in as well, and you're experiencing against other people. And that is not quite tour level, but that's sort of giving you a very good insight about what tour life is about, because it's got all the different nationalities, your different country, you're experiencing tour life as such out there. But that's pretty much how I sort of set up for it. Just played lots of amateur golf. And then, like I said earlier, when I was ready, I turned pro. And when I played at Stoke by Nayland in the LET Access.
Okay. Was that your first tournament?
Yeah, that was my first tournament back in 2015. Okay. I played it in 2014. I had an invite into it. And I played it then as an amateur. And I think I did really well. I won top amateur, and I think I came eighth place.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Yeah, so I played really well, and then the year after I got an invite into that again, and that's when I decided to turn pro.
Yep.
Actually on the Access event. Yeah, that's sort of how it all started. Then after that I decided to go and play qualifying school.
Yep.
And obviously the main aim of that was to get on the Ladies European Tour.
Yep.
But unfortunately I didn't do well for the first couple of years.
Right, okay.
And then I just played on the Ladies Access Series, which gives you a very good insight onto tour life. And
well, it probably sets you up quite nicely, like any of the mini tours do. Even for the male game, they're all there. Yeah. They're all geared up to test you and see if you've got what it takes to actually move up to the next level. So it's a good little platform for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. The little tours are really, really good. And
I must admit, I didn't know there was an LET Access Tour, if I'm honest, before I started looking into it for the podcast and everything that I did before. And I was like, how do the women get onto the European Tour? Then obviously I found the LET, which was great. So
yeah, it's really good because that one also goes. So that one goes around Europe as well.
Yep.
So it's not because we don't really have an English tour for women professionals.
No, that was one of my questions I was going to ask you. Is what would you think of that? Is it you've got now like the 2020 Pro Tour? They do mixed mini tour events, don't they? And I think a lot of the other mini tours are starting to notice that and do it themselves. But there's no real dedicated women's mini tour, is there? So
there's no because you go to Sweden, they used to have the Swedish golf tour, but I think it's called the Nordia Tour now.
Right, okay.
And there's obviously in Spain you've got the Santander Tour, so there are a few different ones.
Yep.
But in England there isn't an English women's professional tour.
No.
So apart from obviously this year, I don't know if you heard about the Justin Rose series.
Yeah, I was going to, obviously you said you played in the Rose series as well, so I was going to ask you about what the experience was in that.
That was amazing. They put the tour together really quick. It all sort of happened, I believe, because of COVID. And it started up by Liz Young, who sent out an email, and a lot of the members on tour got the email about playing an event at Brockenhurst.
Right.
And us all paying an entry fee. I think it was £125.
Right.
And then it would sort of go into the a prize fund and then all play against each other. Mm-hmm. And I think she had about 20 people take her up on that offer. I was one of them.
Yep.
And then there was a few other local girls. And then what I believe is Justin Rose heard all about this, and then he donated an X amount of money. I think it was about 35,000.
Yeah.
He donated the money, and then we ended up having a mini series, which was, it was awesome. To be fair, the venues we had were just incredible.
Oh yeah, I watched quite a few of the highlights, and they looked amazing. You guys had good fun out there as well, which was good to see. But I didn't realise it was started by somebody. I just thought Justin Rose did it off his own back. I didn't realise. Well, obviously he did it off his own back, but I didn't realise it came from somebody else first.
Yeah, no, it did. Yeah, it was Liz Young's idea as such, and then she was just going to do sort of a one day at Brockenhurst, and then it just escalated and got massive.
It did escalate because obviously American Golf then got involved, and
American Golf,
it was really good. So how far did you get? Did you get to the final stage?
Yeah, I played Berkshire. Oh my goodness, where was it? Berkshire, Wentworth, and Northants. That was it.
That's right. Did you get caught up in the fire?
That was such a shame.
Definitely.
That was such a shame. Yeah, I was going along quite nicely as well at Wentworth.
Just the way,
isn't it? Made it 10 times worse. Yeah. I was going. My mum was caddying for me,
right?
And she said to me, I think it was on the third hole. We saw loads of smoke, and we got to about the 9th hole, and that's when we heard the sirens.
Yep.
And and it really wasn't looking good. She was going, "Oh, that wouldn't surprise me if we get called off for the fire," because it was literally not very far away, literally a stone throw away.
Yeah, I saw one of the pictures of the girls standing on the fairway, and I was like, "Yeah, that fire's pretty close."
Yeah, it was really close, and it was awful. And then you could when you got to 9, 10, 11, you could really hear it roaring as well. And then we were putting on one hole, and all the ash was falling down you know, like on your skin, like on the green and everything. And I was just like, oh no, like, I was going to my mum, this is all your fault. You told me this why I wasn't looking good. And she was going, the wind needs to change direction. And I'm like, oh my God. And then, yeah, literally it was difficult to start seeing as well. Like the visibility just dropped.
No,
and then I was just like, we need to hurry up. We need to get in. And then the next thing we all stopped playing. So, I mean, it was sensible. Obviously it was dangerous. 100%.
It was a shame they couldn't finish that round, because obviously it was the first ever round, first ever women's round of golf at Wentworth, wasn't it, as well? So
yeah, exactly. I wanted to play the 18th hole as well, and I didn't even get to the 18th.
Oh man, have you got a chance to go back to it yet, or is there plans to go back?
No, not at the moment. They literally called it off, so they did the first 2 rounds and then just scrapped the third, which makes sense. But obviously for me, I was a bit gutted because I was going along quite well.
Well, I'm hoping that the Rose series, if Justin Rose puts his money in his hand in his pocket again or not, but I think that definitely needs to carry on every year. I think that was a great little thing for you guys. Even if like a little off-season tournament would be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. And even like with just a 1-day event, it just really worked.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really need to stay up anywhere overnight or anything. Literally just drove to it. You played your 1 round of golf and then you could go back home again. Like it worked really well, and it just gives you that competitive round. Even if you're like in between tournaments, or like you say, if it's the off season, you like just starting to play, or you just sort of finish playing, it just gives you that competitive round scorecard in the hand. You know, it was really good.
Well, I think there's definitely a market for it, and obviously that could even turn into the women's mini tour, couldn't it? You never know. Oh yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll put that idea to him, see what he says.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. All right, cool. Well, I was going to talk to you about your Lamenga, but you've already mentioned that one already. So you qualified for European Tour card. So obviously before COVID all hit, was you playing before that on the European Tour, or do you have anything planned?
Well, it was really difficult because I was sort of looking at my season and I was sort of planning for it and everything. So I was actually out for my first event in South Africa at Westlake Golf Club. So that would have been my first LET appearance. So obviously this is my rookie year. Yeah. And I mean, I played okay out there. I missed the cut by 2, I think. Right. But it was overall it was a good experience. And then I think it's there again. Well, it should be there again next year. Yep. So, it's nice to actually play the course. But I really enjoyed it. I love South Africa. I think it's a great country.
Oh, no, I've been there myself. It's a lovely place.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the weather's good as well out there. So It was really nice. It was a good experience. Maybe I was a little bit nervous here and there because it was my first event.
Oh, understandable.
But it was definitely worth the trip. Great experience.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think the rest of the year is kind of written off, isn't it? So I think like you said, you're going to plan for next year. Would that be your first tournament next year, do you think?
So I might go and do the Sunshine Tour next year, which is in South Africa. Yeah. But that just gives me a little warm up before that one. But that's what I'm sort of heading for, really, just to see what happens. Obviously, the schedule hasn't come out. And then, this year is pretty much been written. I've played a few little local pro-am days, like they've got like a little local PGA tour, so I've just been doing a few of those, which has been, again, really nice to get a competitive round in.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've done all right in those, so I kind of wish I was actually going to play somewhere else. But that's the way it goes, isn't it? When you play well, there's never any events.
Nope. All right. So, I think there's a good rundown of, like you said, where you started at 9 years old through to qualifying for the European Tour. So, no, I think it was a nice little journey for you, especially your amateur career. I think you smashed it there, didn't you? So
amateur career was good.
Yeah, it was only a given that you was going to move on to the European Tour and try and compete. So good luck to you.
Yeah, thank
good.
You very much.
All right, I've got a few more questions for you. Yeah. So one thing I'm quite interested in is how do you prepare for a tournament? So regards to training, days before, prep, what would you do?
So, I mean, obviously each tournament's going to be different. You've got to think of your location. So, for example, say you're going to... Well, we don't really play much links, but like for the Rose Series, I went obviously played Royal St George's, which is a linksy course, or if it's windy. So I would go up and see my coach probably like a week or so before. So he'll give me things to work on, and that's what I would work on the driving range or wherever it is. And for the links course, I just focused on like punch shots, low shots, like different shots that you would play on the course, and just practice it either on the driving range or where I play Bridport. It's very windy. It's on a cliff top, so that was like
perfect. Yeah.
So yeah, I would play for that there. Or if you've got, I don't know, if you've got somewhere else that's like a lot of water or hilly, you know, I probably practice like different shots, so maybe different lies you get, ball below the feet, different chip shots, things like that.
Okay.
Training, I mean, like if you mean gym work, I mean, I'm probably not the best at that, but I'll do gym work. I'll do my gym in the winter mainly.
Who is the best at that anyway?
This is true. I try and do a bit of gym work in the winter and then keep it going throughout the season, like in between tournaments where I can.
Okay.
But yeah, mainly the week up to a tournament, I'll just try and play as much golf as I can, and then work on things that I've been given to on the driving range, putting green, chipping green, etc.
Yeah.
And then when I get out there, obviously you get your course planner. I'll just cover that with notes, and then before a round I always like to, so they'll send out the pin sheets,
okay,
to say like how many paces on and how many from the left or right, and I always like to dot them out on the green so I can see like the slopes on the green, so it helps me with like approach shots, saves time, but also it helps me like where I want to place the ball, where I want to be having the putt, etc.
Yeah, I wish I could have that much time to practice for a round of golf, I'll tell you that much. Obviously being a very amateur, just turn up and go, okay, I think the flag's over there, so that'll do. I hit it on that part of the green. But no, I think like you said, you got to prepare for the right course that you're playing on. Obviously, like you said, you get in your library of shots in that you need to play on that day or that week. So no, I think that's quite good. Again, something I never really thought about is you working out what course you're playing and what type of shots you have to hit.
Yeah, it's going to be different. Well, it's going to be different wherever you play, isn't it? So
no, definitely. Okay, next question. What's the best bit of advice you've ever been given, and who was it by?
Oh, well, I've got I don't really know. I've got sort of two that always sort of stick in my head.
Two's good.
So I have like a jokey one.
Right.
So not really a jokey one, but my boyfriend always, every time I play, he has a bit of a joke. He always goes, he always sends me a message or calls me, goes, hit it long, hit it straight, knock it on the green and hold the putt. So literally that is what sticks in my mind through the round. Also puts me in quite a good mood. That's all I just focus on then.
Yep.
And then Karen Nichols, so my coach, I sort of have two coaches.
Okay.
But Karen, she always used to say to me, so if I was worried about things, I don't know, what women are like, we're worried about small things. Sometimes I'm worried about something really stupid, or see I'm a bit nervous or something. She always used just to say to me, let the clubs do the talking, just don't worry about it, let the clubs do the talking. That's the other one really. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. Next up a question then. If you could go back and do something differently, I mean, I don't see where you could probably change things because you've done quite well. But if you could go back and do something differently, what would it be? Yeah.
I don't really know. So, I mean, everything I've done, I'm quite happy with, because I think that makes you who you are now.
Yep.
And I think, if I've sort of made a few mistakes, I've learned from them in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing I would sort of change is the first year I went and played on the Access, I had a caddy with me. I took my mum and my boyfriend just because it was my first year.
Yep.
And then the second year, I started going on my own to events, which is fine. Obviously that's good to be more independent. But I think maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have still had a caddy for the second year and not jumped into it, just sort of went a bit more slower.
Right, okay, just have someone, there's a soundboard, I guess.
Yeah, I really a lot of girls do just go on their own, and I do sometimes, I do go to events on my own, but I do like that little bit of extra company, especially on the golf course. It just relaxes me a bit more. So I think maybe that's what I should have done. I should have just not gone away from having a caddy. Just, should have done that the second year.
So your mum's a constant caddy now, is she, every time you go to the tournament?
Yeah, so like my mum comes with me, or my boyfriend, or even just like sometimes I bring like members from like the golf club I go and play out.
Okay.
It's just a friendly face and just someone to keep me company, really. Yeah.
Good one. Okie doke. I also read, now correct me if it's wrong, you actually still work as well. Obviously, you said you work out where you work, but do you actually still work at a donkey sanctuary?
Yeah. So basically,
did you know I was going to ask that question?
No, I had no idea. I don't even know how you found that out.
I've got my ways.
So so just to help, I don't really have any sponsors currently, looking for next year and planning everything.
Okay.
But yeah, so like a few years ago I used to work at Pandora in the winter, the jewellery shop.
Yep.
But now I sort of changed just because it's just easier to do work in a sort of a restaurant cafe environment. It's just easy and I don't finish late or anything. So
which is good.
So I do a bit of part-time work now. Making coffees and everything. It is good fun. Yep. It makes you realise, some qualities of life and come to the real world. You can't play golf every day,
No.
But yeah, we have a good laugh.
Good stuff. Okay, my next question, and again, you won't know where I got this from either. So you were asked this question on the LET Access series is on your profile. Okay. It says, do you have any superstitions? And apparently you replied back saying you wear odd socks.
Yeah, I do.
What's that about?
I don't know. Do you know what? Back along, someone told me if you wear odd socks, it's lucky. But I don't even know if that's true. But it's just
you still do
in my head. So I still wear odd socks, yeah.
So you just play odd socks when you're playing, or do you wear odd socks literally your whole life?
Do you know what? I wear odd socks every day. I don't even pair them anymore.
That does my head in. I can't deal with that. Right. Anyway, I thought I'd end with a light note with the odd socks. I thought it was quite a fun little story to put in there. So yeah, great stuff.
I wish there was some logic behind it, but I think someone might have tricked me into that back along. But yeah, it's stuck in my head anyway.
But going forward now, everyone's going to ask you got odd socks on today?
Yeah, literally.
Good stuff. Right. Thank you very much, Sophie, for telling me about yourself and your journey through golf. And now you've made it to the European Tour. Hopefully you'll stay on there for a few seasons, or at least for the rest of your career. And we'll start seeing your name at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So I was going to finish off with what I do with every golfer when I get them on, is talk about if you could give advice to people who are trying to become professional golfers and to help them through their times. If you give them 3 big tips and what they should be doing, what would they be? So let's start with tip number 1.
Tip number 1 is a pretty obvious one. You've just got to enjoy it and have fun.
Yep.
Tip number 2, so if you're looking to turn pro and go on tour, then you would need to get used to the lifestyle of traveling, even being on your own sometimes. You just need to sort of get used to that lifestyle.
Yep.
And then tip number 3 would probably, so you need to learn how to play under pressure, because you're not just playing under pressure to win a tournament, you're playing under pressure to make the cut or whatever it is. You're always under pressure, I always think, as a pro anyway. So you just got to learn and maybe bring that into your practice.
Okay.
That's something I started doing. I wish I did it earlier, but that's what I play for money or whatever you want to do, just to put a bit of added pressure on.
Yeah, play for a score basically, isn't it? So
yeah,
if you're down the range, you want to hit 10 balls to a flag, it's got to land 5 yards in. Okay, you got 8 last time, now get 9, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, definitely.
And then I just started playing, like, even if you get little cameras, if you don't like cameras on, just do, I'm going to video you holding this putt, or I'm going to video you driving it off, or, I go and play with my boyfriend now, and it's like, we'll play for £50 a round or whatever, and just get a bit of competitiveness. And
yeah. So is your boyfriend quite a good golfer then?
Yeah, he's a pro as well, yeah.
Oh, right. What's his name, sorry?
Will Farley.
Okay. I'll have to dig him out. See what I can find. No,
Yeah,
good
he's doing
stuff.
Q school this year,
Oh,
so
well done. Okay, so hopefully we'll get through that and you can both be on European tours.
yeah, busy
Good stuff.
lifestyles that would
No,
be.
exactly. Well, I think you're pretty set up to, like you said, have a pretty good career going forward, Sophie. So good luck and thank you for coming on the podcast. And
Thank you.
yeah, maybe I'll see you one day and you can show me how to do it.
Yeah, we'll have a game.
No, definitely. Okay. Thank you very much, Sophie. And
Awesome.
speak
Thank
to
you
soon.
very much.
So wow, what a career Sophie's already had, rising from the amateur ranks, like we said before, winning those 4 national titles doesn't come easy, and now she's on the European tour. So hopefully once everything's calmed down, she can get back out there and start showing exactly what she can do. So that was the 16th episode of One Pod Life. Hope you guys are really enjoying them and you're getting as much insight and value as I am from talking to these professional golfers, learning their tricks in the trade and their training programs and all the things they're doing to keep up at that level. If you are really enjoying them, please do leave me a little review on the podcast platform you're listening to, or if you really want to, you can send me a little DM on Instagram. My handle is OnePuttLife. And yeah, just let me know what you're thinking of the podcast, or even the people that you think I should be talking to. So thank you again, guys, for listening to this episode, and I'll speak to you again soon.